Europe Partnerships, who we are and what we do. Next slide. So we were founded over 20 years ago in Bristol, which is where I now live. We started off as a partnership and then became a company limited by shares in 2006, at which point my co-founder left to join what's now the Department for International Trade. She became, we say in English, a poacher turned gamekeeper. She joined the other side. I took over the company as sole shareholder and managing director. We moved the company to Warwick in the West Midlands in 2008, and we've been there ever since. Not physically in the office for about a year, but that's where our office is when in normal times. We have 8 full-time and part-time staff, multilingual, different nationalities. For historical and personal reasons, we focused a lot on the Spanish-speaking countries, Spain and Latin America, and this is reflected in the languages and the nationalities of some of the people who work here. So we have a couple of Colombians, we have a Spanish colleague, as well as German, Italian, and British. Not quite yet. Could you go back? That's it. Yeah, we have an extensive international network of partners and associates in Europe, the Americas, and Asia. And I'm delighted that 2 of them are here today. So we've got Primadi as our Asian partner, based in Jakarta, and we now are communicating quite regularly with Ken and his team in Wisconsin. So this network has been great to allow us to extend our network to places that we haven't previously reached. Next slide, please. Thank you. This is what we do. I'm sure most of you will recognize these services. I'm sure you provide similar ones yourselves. Partner search and selection is the one that tends to be most in demand, and that's looking particular for distributors, resellers, agents, sometimes strategic alliance partners, and sometimes, of course, end clients. Since March, we've been spending much more time on market research and analysis, because this is work that can easily be done virtually. And we found that demand has really gone up since COVID. We provide sales teams with support and also advise the management team, sales director and sales managers on their strategy. We have had a big extensive experience also in events, and these were done in particular with various embassies in London, so particularly the Finnish and the Icelandic and the German embassies. We've worked very closely for product presentations, for bringing clusters of companies to London, this sort of thing. These are often combined with matchmaking events and trade missions and trade fairs. All of that activity, of course, stopped dead in March. Our last event, Outokumpu, was in a Finnish company, was on the 8th of March. We've not done anything in that area since. This has had a significant financial impact on our company, unfortunately, which we've been trying to compensate for by doing more market research. It isn't as much fun, I have to say, the market research as the events, but anyway, that's where we are. We provide support for companies that are looking to invest, and this extends also to working with FDI, foreign direct investment agencies, to help them to meet the right people in these markets, UK and the Republic of Ireland. We, through our network partners, can provide companies with support in legal and accountancy. And one area that I've developed personally in the last 15 years has been training. And I've been an accredited trainer with Promote Iceland and with various chambers in the Spanish Basque Country to deliver workshops, 1 and 2 day workshops on aspects of SME internationalization, and particularly search, selection and management of overseas sales partners. Okay, so we cover UK and Ireland, but we've also worked in third markets. We had a very successful experience a few years ago in Latin America. We took German delegations to Colombia and Ecuador. Those went very well. We've also taken Icelandic companies to Japan, to Italy, to France. So we can work in third markets if that's the brief, mainly with the help of our associates. Next slide. Our clients are from both the public and the private sector. Our work is mainly export related, but as I explained, we have done some FDI work, most recently with Invest in Finland. Almost all of our clients are from outside of the UK, which is a complete reversal. When we started 20 years ago, we had very few non-UK clients, and we're now, we've turned the thing on its head, and almost all of our clients are from outside the UK, particularly the Nordics, Germany, France, for example. How does our work reach us, or how do we get our work? It comes from 4 main sources, or I would say 3 main sources and one minor source. The main sources would be via recommendations from organizations such as Business Finland and Promote Iceland, who have already pre-qualified us as preferred suppliers. So we're already on a list of people that they will refer companies to. And that has been a tremendous source of work, and has explained why our Finnish business particularly has just rocketed in the last 5 years. We also obtain work, particularly our German work. Some of our Finnish work, but mainly our German work, comes via tenders, and we will tender on our own or with partners. We've already discussed with Primadi the possibility of tendering for Indonesia, for example. But these are very competitive and not necessarily very well remunerated. So we have to be careful which ones we go for. The BMWI, if you haven't heard of it, is the Bundesministerium für Wirtschaft und Technologie. And this is the main government department, federal government department in Germany that issues tenders for overseas trade. And if you're not on their mailing list or not checking out what they're doing, it's worth looking them up, because they take delegations of German companies all over the world, and they have significant budgets. Another one for the federal government of Germany is BAFA, the agriculture and food, also issue tenders on a regular basis for food and drink, and we've worked with those as well. We obtain work through network partners. We have excellent partners in Spain and in Holland, Germany and Denmark, and this has been a way of obtaining extra leverage to win business, particularly from public bodies such as export support agencies. And finally, and we've been doing less of this recently, but we have had success in applying for funding through the Erasmus program in the European Union under Leonardo da Vinci and Grundtvig. This is a few years ago now, but those projects went very well. Of course, we can no longer apply for those because we're now outside of the European Union. However, that could be done maybe through partners on the inside, and that's something that we would be interested in talking to any of the European people on this call. We'd be very interested to talk to you about that and sharing our materials with you. Next slide, Charlotte, thanks. All sectors, IT, information technology and software, smart manufacturing, construction, e-commerce, retail, fashion design, jewelry, food, tourism, clean tech, and dental tech. We've done quite a bit with the Handwerkskammer in Germany for dental laboratories. And that's quite a good little sector for us. And Germany, of course, is a world leader in dental technology, as I'm sure you all know. So those are the sectors we work in. There are very few sectors we haven't worked in. And we have worked with some very odd and unusual products and services. So in 20 years, we've had a pretty wide experience across all sectors. Next slide. Recent projects. These are just the ones I'm showing you here, the ones that we've been doing really in the last 6 months, to give you an idea. We completed in January a study on the electric vehicle charging infrastructure for Business Finland and for a cluster of Finnish suppliers. And we're negotiating with some Norwegian partners to do the same with Norwegian suppliers. If anybody's interested in that, and if they think there's mileage in their own countries, we'd be delighted to talk to you to see if we can introduce that study and those opportunities to other countries. We've been doing work with French software for the UK telecoms industry. We've been doing, we're just starting a market study and distributor search for a company from Lapland in playground equipment, which every Finn on this call will know. UK market study for Finnish glazed balconies in the UK, and German distributor. We just completed this, a distributor search in Germany for an Icelandic manufacturer of palletized food containers. As you can see, quite a wide range, and fairly typical of what we do in a typical 6-month period. Next slide. This is a case study that I was going to do, but I'm worried about time. So I think I'll just tell you very briefly.
Well, I think we're fine with time.
Are we okay?
Mark.
Can I talk? Can I do the case study, or do you want me to?
Very interesting indeed.
All right, sure. Right. This is a kind of tech stroke hospitality. It's a company that was producing software for the hotel industry, and they chose the Irish Republic as their target market. The company, I'm just going to read from the sheet here, but the company felt that the Irish market offered opportunities for its hospitality software, but they had little market knowledge. Project consisted of 4 main phases: a market report on the Irish hospitality sector, including an overview of the opportunities, threats, main players and competitors. Based on this, clear rationale for the strategy to enter the market. Then developing a database of potential hotels, including a short list of up to 20 of the hotels that look the most promising in the Irish Republic. And lastly, making contact and establishing interest, including setting up meetings for the client. So the deliverables were a market report and strategy proposals. As a result of the research, it was agreed to focus on a 2-pronged attack, targeting hotels with over 50 rooms. These were felt to be large enough to be interested in the software, and we also targeted tour operators in Ireland. There was limited competition, a clear market opportunity was identified, and the client decided to handle the tour operators themselves, leaving Euro partnerships to focus on the hotels. So it's very much a partnership, and that's very typical of the way we work. We work in close partnership with the client, and we do encourage them to share the work, to share the tasks with us, because we get better results if we work together. A second deliverable was the targeting. So we developed a database of 351 hotels with more than 50 rooms, including full contact details. And we followed this up with an intensive telemarketing campaign and managed to set up meetings with 10 hotels and hotel groups for the client to visit, having pre-qualified their potential interest in the software. Next steps: as a result of the project, they decided to appoint a sales manager for Ireland to develop the opportunity in country. that's a typical example of a project that we did. Time scale was about 8 to 10 weeks.